Hey, what's up? My name is Ben Giroux. I am the voice of Big Nate on Paramount Plus from Nickelodeon, and I am chilling here with Elias on the Man Cave Chronicles podcast.
Ben, welcome to the cave.
Thanks, man. Great to be here.
Exciting times, man. You got a nice little animation coming out in about a week from now. Big Nate, you've been on a roll last few years, man.
It's been good, man. Yeah, really excited about the show. It's just so cool to finally be seeing the fruits of our labor. We've been working on this animated series now for 2 years throughout the
Wow,
pandemic, and it's great that we're finally getting it out. Paramount Plus.
that's right. So before we even jump into the show, man, I was trying to do some research on you. You've been all over the place. You've done voiceover, you've done acting. Is there anything I've left out so far? Like a little
I mean,
directing. You've done a little directing too, because you've done the music video, the '90s there, the '90s music
yeah.
video.
Yeah, I mean, I think certainly in 2022 as an entertainer, you have to be a multi-hyphenate. I think early on in my career, I thought, I don't want anyone to know I do anything other than acting or, being a television actor. Now, I would say I do lots of stuff. So I direct commercials and music videos and TV pilots through my company, Small Red Cape. I'm certainly a voice actor where I'm here to talk about, my animated series that's coming out with Nickelodeon. I also do on-camera acting, so I've been on hundreds of episodes of television shows. And what else do I do? I produce, I write music, I'm pitching shows, I'm directing a documentary. I do lots of stuff. So, 10 years ago, if you were to say, hey, man, what do you do? I would say, oh, I'm an actor. I'm an actor. Now, I like to say I just make cool stuff with my friends.
Yeah. So what made you get into the entertainment world? Like, I know you grew up like in the like late '80s, early '90s. Like, what influenced you to get into this?
Yeah, I mean, gosh, if I think back, there's a photo of me as a 6-month-old with my dad holding me up to the 80s television screen while I watched The Three Stooges, Moe smashing an anvil over Curly's head. So I think I was hooked on comedy from an early age. And I grew up really sort of terrorizing my younger sister with crazy cartoon voices running around the house. So I knew I was sort of destined for a kind of a cartoony life. I grew up, my parents owned a comic book store, so I grew up in a
Oh
very
wow.
colorful atmosphere. And, went to theater school, ultimately graduated from USC, was lucky enough to book my first television show with the Farrelly brothers, who did Something About Mary and Dumb and Dumber, my final year of college. But yeah, so I guess, from an early age, I was interested in comedy and making people laugh. I became very comfortable on the stage. I sort of grew up in the theater. And that sort of translated all through college until I started working immediately in television after I graduated.
Wow. So doing all this and everything, like a lot of like listeners and viewers that are tuning in, they know you from Henry Danger, man. And like you even on TikTok, you're still doing the toddler to this day.
Yeah, it's crazy to think I've been playing the Toddler on Henry Danger and Danger Force for almost 10 years now, which is like insane longevity in television, especially these days. Yeah, so I'm the OG villain on Henry Danger. I've played an evil man-baby gangster now for a decade, and I love it, man. Like I said, I'm a theater guy, so, kids' television tends to be pretty broad, certainly a broad character, and a character that I get to really showcase my vocal abilities with too. He talks so crazy. So I've really enjoyed being on Nickelodeon for so long. I certainly have established a great relationship with the network over the years
Mhm.
on camera, and it's great that that relationship is starting to really prove successful with voiceover as well. I grew up watching Doug and Rugrats and Ren and Stimpy on the animation side with OG Nicktoons, but I also
Yeah.
watched all that and Keenan and Kel back in the day. So really to sort of be a staple on camera Nickelodeon and then now animation Nickelodeon as an adult really feels full circle.
Mhm. But, my daughter is 6 years old, by the way, and she's just started getting into Henry Danger. So I was like, I had to tell you when you were gonna come on the air. Like, she loves that show, and as soon as I told her that you were coming on, she like went crazy.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, like you said, you've been part of like the Nickelodeon family. Did you ever like think like you're like cemented in there now with all the shows that you've done and
Yeah,
projects?
it's crazy, man. I mean, everybody sort of carves out their own path in the entertainment industry. I don't know if you've seen that meme online of like how it started and how it's going that a lot of people have
Mm,
been doing. But I found a photo of me and my sister when I was like 10 years old, sitting on a Nickelodeon bench at Nickelodeon, Orlando, Florida. And I posted that as how it started. And then I posted, the article announcing my new show, Big Nate, on Nickelodeon, and with how it's going. And it's just, again, it feels very full circle. I'm very grateful to work with, the network that I exclusively watched as a kid. And my hope is now I get to sort of create some new memories for kids in 2022.
Before we jump into Big Nate, also, tell us a little about that '90s video that went viral that you made, and how did you get the idea with that? I watched it again last night before we spoke today, and it's like it's genius, first of all, the way.
Oh,
But how did you
thanks,
come up with
man.
that? How did you come up with that idea?
Well, look, I've always been a really creative guy outside of my acting career. I was never satisfied with like just doing acting roles and auditioning and stuff. So early on in the days of YouTube, I started creating a lot of my own content. And that really started to build and grow and spiral into me creating my own company, Small Red Cape. We do commercials and music videos and TV pilots. I guess the genesis of the '90s video was I'm a short guy, so I played a lot of short roles on television, and I always wanted to do this like braggadocious kind of Busta Rhymes style hip hop music video about being short. And so I teamed up with a buddy of mine, Jensen Reed, who's a hip hop artist and a songwriter, and we made a music video years ago called Little Dude Anthem. And it was basically me rapping as a Smurf and a Christmas elf, and it did really well. And it was supposed to be a one-off project, and then Jensen and I said, "Hey, man, this really sort of ratcheted up what we thought was possible with production. It really was a high-end music video. What else do we get excited about? What do we want to make another video about?" And we both really enjoy '90s nostalgia. We both really are sort of reflective guys for simpler times. And I'm a product of the '90s. I grew up in the '90s. I love the '90s. So we spent 2 years working on a celebratory music video called Back to the '90s. And when we finally put it out, it went nuts. We got 100 million views. We charted at number 11 on Billboard. We joined the Backstreet Boys in Las Vegas. And it really ratcheted up my company to a new level.
Mm.
Jensen and I were able to subsequently make a ton of new music videos. We're actually working on Back to the 2000s as we speak. And it really sort of opened up a whole new world of opportunities for me, both as a director and on camera, and really as a content creator.
Mm. Now, like you said, you mentioned the 2000s. Like, are you like already like writing down ideas of what you want to bring into this video from the 2000s?
Yeah, so after the '90s video we made, we made like an arcade video about retro
Mm.
arcade games. We made our Back to the '80s sequel where we built like 50 custom sets and really tried to ramp up what was possible in terms of fitting multiple genres of music and multiple styles into a single music video. That video did very successful. But we teased at the end of our '80s video, we had thousands and thousands of people from all over the world asking for us to do the same kind of nostalgia hip hop comedy treatment to the decade of the 2000s or the aughts, however you want to refer to it. And we had intended to do that prior to the pandemic. And then this pesky little thing called COVID happened. So we were delayed on it, but I'm really happy really we just got cranking on it this year in 2022. The song is almost complete. It's really good. I think it's our best song yet. And we have a pretty inventive plan for what we want to do in terms of filming it, but I don't want to give too much away. But my hope is that in calendar year 2022, we'll be releasing the next crazy music video of ours. And it's interesting, I spend so long on a 3 or 4 minute project, and every frame matters. And what I've
Mm.
really enjoyed about TikTok is I'm posting 2 things a day on
Wow.
TikTok. And so while I can really spend time, focusing on my, filmmaker minutia on YouTube, on TikTok, I can just put stuff out, build an audience, like experiment, try stuff. It's a little messier, and I really appreciate sort of both sides of making content.
You mentioned one more thing about the '90s. Like, what is one thing that you miss from the '90s?
Oh man. I mean, everything. Can we just go back to 2019 where we didn't have masks? Um, Look, I think the '90s was the last period of time where you required human connection. It
Mm.
was right before uh, cell phones and technology really took over. I remember, playing in the front yard and needing to memorize my friends' phone numbers
Right.
and blowing in a cartridge so that you could play a Nintendo game. Like, there was this really charming analog quality to the 90s. And I think that I miss the simplicity of that. Now we are beholden to our phones. And while I'm certainly grateful for my phone, in that it unlocks sort of a whole world of content creation possibilities, there is something I miss about running around my high school, courtyard with a mini DV camera trying to create a comedy short and then figure out how to get it on a VHS tape.
Right. And it's like the only good thing about like now it's like also, you talk about like the cell phones, everything. Like there's times where you have to unplug just for a little bit, just to make
Oh,
yourself
yeah.
feel better.
Yeah, man, for sure, for sure. And look, I'm also very grateful for technology in that I'm
Yeah.
speaking to you from my home broadcast voiceover booth where I'm able to create my animated series. And that would only be possible with modern technology.
Right. Yeah, let's jump right into Big Nate now. How like now is this always gonna be a Paramount Plus show, or was it first like gonna be Nickelodeon and then well, like,
Yeah,
what's the
so
whole
one
story behind that?
one of the things that Nickelodeon's doing right now in keeping up with the times is that, more and more people are embracing streaming services rather than traditional television. And so Nickelodeon's been really smart about releasing a lot of their new animated properties on Paramount Plus, which is their sort of streamer. So I'm really excited because I feel like us premiering on Paramount Plus with Big Nate opens us up to an even wider audience. And look, I think we have a pretty edgy show, and so I think kids and adults alike are really going to like it. And I think that being on a streamer, um, again, just opens us up to a wider audience. So I'm really excited about that. And who knows what their plans are? I know a lot of their shows subsequently appear on Nickelodeon after they premiere on a streamer. So I'm not sure exactly what the plans are yet,
Mm.
but really happy with the Paramount Plus partnership, and certainly the advertisements we've been getting as a result. We have a giant billboard in Times Square right now,
I
which
saw
is
that,
really
yeah.
really just a cool life moment, and one that would only be possible by us premiering on a streamer.
Yeah. Now was this how did you get approached for this project? Was it like an audition? Was this like somebody that you worked with before? They told you to come on or
Yeah, it's a great question. So I've obviously had a great relationship with Nickelodeon over the years. I was the voice of Mikey Monroe on Butch Hartman's Bunsen is a Beast show a few years ago. I've done tons of voices with the studio, Loud House, Blaze and the Monster Machines, et cetera, et cetera. So great relationships over there. I did audition for it. In fact, I auditioned for Big Nate probably 4 or 5 times. My first audition was in December 2019. So there were months of auditions, and look, rightfully so. Nate's got 90% of the dialogue in every episode, so they had to get it right, and I'm humbled and honored that they chose me. But it was great already having an existing sort of relationship with the studio itself, with the network, and also having a great relationship with the other actors on the show, coincidentally. So my real life writing partner, Arnie Pantoja, was cast as Teddy Ortiz, Nate's sort of co-conspirator in all of his hijinks. So my actual real life sort of improv comedy dynamic with Arnie is reflected in Nate and Teddy on the show. Bryce Charles, who plays Dee Dee Holloway on the show, who's the theater nerd of our show. Bryce and I actually met doing a theater show, doing a play a few months prior. Daniel Cohen, and Daniel M.K. Cohen, who plays Francis. Daniel and I, he's a fellow short guy. We met doing a Christmas Elf audition years ago. So it was really cool, especially in a pandemic, coming in with existing friendships. And I think that's really contributed to the friendships you see reflected on screen in the show are authentic friendships in real life.
now you mentioned you auditioned like 5 times. Like every time you went in there, like did you do like a different voice until you like kind of had an idea how you wanted to voice this character?
Yeah, I think one of the cool trends about animation that I see right now is that, animation 15 years ago used to be super over the top and cartoony. And now there's a real grounded nature to the performances. What I really like about Big Nate is that there's kind of an edge to the comedy, an old school
Yeah.
Doug, Rugrats, Ren and Stimpy vibe. And look, I think so in terms of the figuring out the voice, Nate's voice is less about doing something super different. It's a little higher, but it's more about just finding your inner awesome. he's just got this unabashed confidence and he's got this fearless nature. And so it's less about how you sound and more about how you deliver the lines.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So when you booked the role now, did you like, because the show's based off books, did you go back to like just read a couple books just to get an idea like how you want to like voice him and play him, you know, like the his
Yeah, so
reactions to things?
So I'm 37, so I missed like the initial Big Nate surge when when everybody got hyped about Big Nate. So it's been really fun for me to kind of retroactively go back and educate myself on a massive global fan base that Big
Yeah.
Nate already has. So certainly my task as the title character is to honor the source material, the very successful comic strip and book series, but also to invite in a whole new generation of Big Nate fans. And I think the show and the team of writers and everybody, the cast, has done a really great job of that, where we're playing off of the characters and the relationships and the locations that people already know and love who know Big
Mm.
Nate. But also, all of the TV episodes are original storylines. So the analogy I've been using with people is it's a house. The book series, the comic strip is the foundation of our house, and then it's our job on the television show to create rooms and floors on top of that. And I think the team's done a really great job of it.
Wow. Now when you guys started like recording and pretty much getting ready for the show, like was it each person going in there doing their lines, or did you get to work with others?
Yeah, so one of the things that's made our show so unique is that I booked this show officially the first week of the pandemic. And so we have exclusively recorded this series over the past 2 years remotely.
Wow.
And it's been a real astounding achievement for all departments, the writers, the animators, the cast. It's amazing. When you see the show, you'll never know that none of us have ever been in the same room. What I
Mm.
will say is specifically amazing about our show is that most animated series right now are happening remotely, an actor patching in with a voice director over Zoom and Source Connect at home, and then the performances are edited together retroactively. Our show still has found a way to record as an ensemble, which has really contributed, I think, to the magic of the comedy in that we still get on a Zoom once a week and we're able to riff with each other. I'm able to react off of other actors' performances. Most importantly, we're able to improvise. I give a lot of credit to our showrunner, Mitch Watson, who lets us riff with each other. All of those little magic comedy moments that you find between the scripted lines, I think really help elevate our show and the comedy, and could only be possible by doing it and recording it as an ensemble. So a lot of credit to Nickelodeon for figuring out the technical hurdles required to allow us to still record together as a group.
What did you love about this character, Big
Oh
Nate?
man. I mean, I see so much of myself in Big Nate, but Nate's an artist. He doodles. In fact, it's a 3D CGI animated show, but Nate's doodles come to life in the show as 2D animations. I actually doodled as a kid in real life. I almost went into the fine arts. So, there's some weird parallels in life about how Nate is an artist and I grew up as an artist. What I really admire about Nate though, and where I differed from my own 6th grade experience, is Nate is just filled with the most confidence in the world. He's such a confident kid. I don't really feel like I had that confidence or that tight knit group of friends in 6th grade. So, in many ways, this is a 6th grade do over for me. But Nate is the thing I admire most about him is he's fearless, he's got unbelievable confidence. And that leads him into some really crazy adventures with his group of friends.
How many episodes are we about to see get
So,
released?
yeah, great question. So the first 8 episodes are about to drop on February 17th on Paramount Plus. We've recorded plenty more thereafter. They're going to be released in batches. I don't think I can say anything more than that, but
Mm.
we've done a bunch of them. We continue to do a bunch of them, and I'm really hopeful and crossing my fingers that we will continue on.
Yeah. Now, did you get a chance to voice anybody else on this show, like a smaller character also? Because I know like sometimes you guys do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Nickelodeon's really great about that. So what happens is like your core sort of 4 or 5 people on the show, you show up to work every week and they divvy out the ancillary roles to you. So in almost every episode, all of us play 2 or 3 other smaller characters on the show. Lots of fun, anytime you hear other kids, other random adults, other teachers, it's all us just doing different voices. We've had some really wonderful guest stars on the show outside of that. Jack Black is in the pilot with
That's
me.
right.
So had a really fun time sort of, real bucket list moment, sort of acting off of Jack's performance. Um, they've told me things I can and can't say. Suffice it to say, we've had some great guest stars on the show. Some really fun actors have appeared. And but yeah, I would say we do a lot of ancillary characters as well. So I mean, at this point, it's been dozens and dozens and dozens of additional characters.
When you have kids tuning in to watch this, what do you want? Like, what do you want them to feel watching this? Like the
Yeah.
reaction.
I mean, look, first and foremost, this has been a really challenging 2 years for all of us. So
Yeah.
the first thing I want people of all ages to take away is just some laughter. 22, 23 minutes of levity, right? Like we just need to laugh. So that's the number one thing. The second thing I think is really cool about Big Nate is like Big Nate and his group of friends aren't really cool. They're not the cool kids in school, but they think they are, and that's all that matters. Nate is on this constant quest to find his version of awesomeness. And I think that's a great lesson for all kids, right? Like find your inner awesome. Don't care what other people think of you, and go forth with confidence, knowing that you and your friends are absolutely awesome. So yeah, again, it's just that confidence. It's that just unabashed confidence that I think all kids could be served well by.
What do you think? We're gonna see a Big Nate movie?
I can't
Do you
say
want that?
anything. I can't say anything officially, but I feel good about that.
There you go. What's next for you now? Like any other like little projects are coming up that you want to tell the viewers and listeners?
Yeah, it's interesting. I've got my voice is coming out on plenty of other shows, but I'm not able to say what they are right now, which I'm sure
Yeah.
you encounter frequently when you talk to people.
Yeah.
I'm currently directing a docu-series that, again, I can't say much about, but I'm very excited about that because it's sort of a new genre to explore. Working on that Back to the 2000s music
Mhm.
video that I'm very excited to release this year. And certainly I'm still doing the Toddler on Dangerverse. Actually, my next episode of Dangerverse comes out on February 17th as well on the
Wow.
release day of Big Nate. So it'll be a good Nickelodeon day for me.
Ben, how can the viewers and listeners find you on social media? I know you're all over
Yeah,
the place.
totally, man. Yeah, just find my name, Ben Giroux, Bengiroux. TikTok and Instagram are where I am most active, I would say, and where I'm posting lots of stuff every day.
Ben, man, this was great. Thanks for coming on, and let's get you back on with the new projects.
Rock on, man. Great to talk to you.